Dispatch log, 2:43 a.m. Unit 12 responding. Routine welfare check. Possible domestic disturbance. Location, 1784 Old Mill Road, outskirts of Rainfield. Rural zone, no streetlights, coverage poor. Static on radio since the storm. Officer J. Carter reporting. It was one of those nights when the cold feels wet even without rain. The kind where the windshield fogs from the inside, like the cruiser itself doesn't want to see what's out there. I'd been on shift 12 hours straight. Coffee was gone. The world outside was silent except for the hiss of the radio. My partner, O'Leary, leaned back, half asleep, eyes flicking to the dash cam light like it was a heartbeat. Dispatch repeated the call, voice cutting through static. Possible disturbance, caller disconnected. No name, no follow-up ping, just coordinates. Standard procedure, we go check. Old Mill Road, about 10 miles past the industrial park where the asphalt ends and dirt begins. You lose cell service halfway there. Locals say there used to be a mill burned down in the 80s. Nobody rebuilt. People still squat in the old houses, mostly condemned. As we turned off Main, the lights faded fast. The night swallowed everything except our headlights. Trees leaned in close, their branches dripping. Somewhere, an animal screamed, something between a fox and a baby. O'Leary muttered, "Probably nothing. These calls never are." I didn't answer. Something about the air felt wrong. He kept the radio low, static whispering under it like voices trying to form words. The road narrowed until it became mud. GPS froze. 2:56. That was when the interference began. The dash cam flickered. The radio spat nonsense, like overlapping transmissions. Our own call signs repeating out of sync. Unit 12, respond. Unit 12. I turned the dial. The voice warped, deepened, then vanished. We stopped where the signal last came from. The address didn't match any mailbox. Just a dirt driveway vanishing into the trees. Headlights caught something metallic. An old gate half collapsed. Beyond it, darkness. I radioed in dispatch, Unit 12 on scene, checking perimeter. Only static replied. No confirmación. O'Leary grabbed his flashlight and got out. The beam barely cut through the fog. Everything smelled like wet earth and iron. The forest around us felt too quiet. Not even insects. Just wind moving through hollow spaces. We started down the path, boots sinking into the mud. Halfway in, O'Leary stopped. "You hear that?" I didn't, until I did. A faint, rhythmic tapping, like metal against wood, coming from deeper ahead. We followed it for maybe 30 yards before it stopped. Just gone. Then, from behind us, the cruiser's radio flared to life. Our call sign again, but distorted like someone playing it back through a bad speaker. Unit 12, respond. We ran back, thinking dispatch finally got through. But the cruiser was dark. The radio light blinked once, then died completely. Battery fine, but everything. Dash cam, comms lights dead. I turned the key. Nothing. The night pressed in heavier, swallowing the sound of the engine's failure. O'Leary exhaled, said quietly, "Let's call it in from the station." I nodded, though we both knew we'd lost the signal miles ago. Still, we started back down the road. The tapping sound returned, closer now, maybe 10 feet off to the right. And something else, a voice on the wind, low, broken by static. "My name," whispered once, then silence. I swung the flashlight that way. Nothing but fog. We reached the cruiser, climbed in, doors slamming too loud. I tried ignition again. It started on the third try, weak headlights flickering. O'Leary stared out his window and said, almost to himself, "Did you see someone back there?" I looked, just fog moving like breath. "Probably a trick of the light," I said. But even as we drove off, the radio kept whispering, faint beneath the static, looping the same phrase over and over. Unit 12, remain on scene. Dash cam recovered footage begins 3:12 a.m. visibility low. Severe fog. Audio interference present. Officer Carter reporting. We drove back up the same dirt path despite the static warning loop still playing. The dispatcher's voice, or whatever was mimicking it, faded the deeper we went. Like the fog itself was swallowing the signal. The trees pressed closer. Headlights painted long, crooked shadows. We found a structure at the end of the trail, a small, one-story farmhouse, roof half caved in, windows boarded. No lights, no signs of recent occupation. The front door hung off one hinge. The mailbox out front was rusted over, but the number was clear, 1784. The same as the dispatch coordinates. O'Leary muttered, "So it's real." The ground was scattered with footprints, but they didn't make sense. Too many overlapping, like people pacing in circles. Some led toward the woods. Some just stopped. I called in again, dispatch, Unit 12 on scene, requesting additional unit for welfare check. Static. Then faintly, through the distortion of a woman's voice, copy 12, proceed inside, not dispatch. The tone was off. Too calm, too slow. But protocol's protocol. I acknowledged and stepped forward. The porch creaked like it was breathing. The air inside was thick, heavy with rot and rain. My flashlight beam shook slightly against the peeling wallpaper. Everything looked frozen in time. Plates still on the table, a child's toy half buried in dust. The radio hissed again. 12 status. The voice was different this time. Male. Closer. I turned the volume down. O'Leary checked the back rooms while I documented the scene. The kitchen was untouched, except for one chair knocked over and muddy prints across the floor, leading to the back door. I took a step closer. Something about the prints looked wrong. The pattern was inverted, like the mud wasn't pressed into the floor, but raised from it, as if it had come from underneath. The lights flickered just once. Power shouldn't have been working at all. I heard O'Leary call from the hall. Basement doors open. His voice sounded too distant, like the walls were stretching the sound. I moved toward him, every step echoing in a strange delay. The hall ended in a doorway, leading down into darkness. My flashlight couldn't reach the bottom. Just a concrete stairwell disappearing into black. "You sure someone's down there?" I asked. No answer. Just the low creak of wood shifting under pressure. I turned, expecting him beside me. Empty. Aliati. Nothing. Radio crackled. "Carter, come in." The voice was his, but layered like a recording playing twice out of sync. "Basement, she's down here." I froze. I hadn't heard him use that tone before. Flat, emotionless. I keyed the mic, "Say again." The line hissed, then went silent. For a few seconds, I just listened. The sound of the storm outside was gone. The world felt sealed off. I started recording on my body cam. Timestamp 3:37. My breathing was louder than it should have been. Each step down felt longer than the last. The smell of metal grew stronger. Rust and blood. My light caught the edge of something at the bottom. A figure. At first I thought it was O'Leary, crouched. But as I came closer, I saw the uniform was wrong. Older. Stained. The badge was unreadable, rusted into the fabric. The head lifted slightly, like it heard me. Then the flashlight flickered, and when it came back, the space was empty. Just the echo of movement behind me. I turned, heart pounding. The stairs behind me seemed longer than before. I climbed fast, light jerking across the walls. On the way up, the wallpaper was different, newer, cleaner, like the house had changed while I was below. The air upstairs was cold. My breath came out visible. Radio flared again, this time a distorted scream. Then O'Leary's voice whispering, "Carter, upstairs." I aimed my light down the hallway. At the far end, for a split second, I saw him standing there, still, arms at his sides, eyes fixed on me. Then the light cut. Total darkness. When it came back, he was gone. Only his flashlight remained, rolling slowly across the floor until it stopped against my boot. The beam pointed toward the front door. I picked it up. Outside, fog had thickened to white noise. No sound of crickets. No engine. No tracks on the road. Just silence. I keyed the mic again, Dispatch. Officer Carter requesting immediate backup. Officer missing. Possible 10 and 99. Static. Then a voice I didn't recognize, low and broken, said, "He's not missing. He's still inside." Body cam recovered footage. 3:44 a.m. Visual intermittent. Audio corrupted. Officer Carter reporting. The house felt different now. The walls looked wet, like the paint was sweating. Every sound came back slower, like the air was thick enough to hold it. I called again for O'Leary, but the sound of my own voice came from behind me. The same words, half a second late. I turned fast, nobody. The hall stretched longer than before. My flashlight flickered every few seconds, each time showing something slightly changed. A picture frame missing, a door open that wasn't before, wallpaper rippling as if something moved underneath it. My chest tightened. I tried the front door locked. Deadbolt that wasn't there earlier. I pulled, slammed, kicked. No give. Radio static burst, shrill, sharp enough to hurt. Through it, I heard whispering, several voices, all low, all saying the same word, "Stay." The light dimmed. I switched to the backup flashlight on my vest. Beam narrow, weak, shaking. I kept recording, muttering time, stamps to stay grounded. 0351, location, Old Mill Road, no backup, partner missing. My voice didn't sound right in the playback. Slower, lower. I moved toward the living room, trying to find any exit. That's when I noticed the floor. Mud, fresh, wet, spreading from the basement door like something had seeped up through the cracks. I aimed the light down. The mud shifted slightly, pulsing like it was breathing. Then from inside the basement came a sound, 3 slow knocks. Hollow, wood on wood. Then again, faster. Then silence. I raised my weapon, flashlight fixed on the door. The knob began to turn by itself, slow, deliberate, as if someone was waiting for permission. I backed up, breath uneven, muttering, "Don't open it." The door stopped halfway. Darkness below, too black for light to penetrate. And then footsteps, bare, soft, wet, coming up the stairs. I aimed, shouted identification. No response. The steps stopped just out of sight. I held there, finger on trigger. My light flickered once. When it came back, a face was there. Only for a blink, but close, inches from the frame. Pale, eyes too dark. Not O'Leary. I fired. The sound barely registered, like the house absorbed it. Smoke hung in the beam. Nothing there. Just the open basement door. Radio burst again. O'Leary's voice. "Carter. Don't look at it." Static swallowed the rest. I stumbled back, hit the wall. Something cold touched my hand, his badge half buried in mud. The edges were warm, pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. I dropped it. My body cam cut for 3 seconds, then resumed. I was in a different room. Kitchen again, lights dim, clock on the wall spinning backward. I don't remember moving. My reflection in the window looked off, mouth still moving even when I stopped speaking. I backed away. The whispering started again, layered, too close, like someone breathing directly into the mic. "Stay. Stay." I covered the lens with my hand, turned, and there O'Leary, standing by the back door, eyes fixed on me. His uniform was soaked, face blank. I said his name. He blinked once, slow. "We shouldn't have come," he said. Voice flat, delayed by an echo that didn't match his mouth. I took a step closer. His radio clicked on by itself. Our earlier dispatch repeating. Possible disturbance. 1784 Old Mill Road, then louder. Then distorted. He raised his hand. His skin looked wrong, too smooth like wax softening under heat. He whispered, "It's in the signal." Then the lights blew out. My flashlight went dead. Total black. The next sounds came from the recorder only. My breathing, uneven. Something moving just ahead, scraping, dragging, then silence. Then a whisper, mine, coming from somewhere else in the room. Unit 12, remain on scene, static. Then impact noise. Body cam tilts, hits the floor. The final frame before the footage corrupts shows a blurred figure leaning into the lens. Face indistinct. Eyes reflecting light like an animal. Last Shift Files, Part 4. The Report. Rainsfield Police Department. Internal case, file hashtag 12-87A. Classification, restricted. Subject, missing officers. Carter J. Badge number 1042, O'Leary M. Badge number 1079. Incident date, March 14th, 2019. Location, 1784 Old Mill Road, Rainfield County, Kentucky. Summary. At approximately 2:43 a.m., Unit 12 was dispatched to a reported disturbance at the above address. Caller identified only as female voice. No callback number recorded. GPS ping confirmed approximate location before line terminated. Unit 12 acknowledged receipt. No further transmissions were received until 4:06 a.m. when partial, corrupted audio was logged on Channel 3B. Both officers have been missing since. Recovered materials. Patrol cruiser, Unit 12, engine running, doors open, headlights on, parked 0.4 miles from address. Dash cam footage, 3:12 to 3:39 a.m. Corrupted beyond 3:41. Body cam footage, Officer Carter, partially recovered. Final timestamp, 3 hours, 58 minutes, and 42 seconds. Personal radio of Officer O'Leary, discovered 12 feet from residence entrance. Battery intact. No physical trace of owner. Transcript excerpt body come out. Carter. 3 hours, 52 minutes, and 11 seconds. Carter. Unit 12 to dispatch. Officer missing. Request immediate. Signal distortion. 3 hours, 52 minutes, and 29 seconds. Voice. Unidentified, he's not missing. He's still inside. 3 hours, 52 minutes, and 34 seconds. Carter, who is this? 3 hours, 52 minutes, and 36 seconds. Pause. Heavy static. Then faint echo resembling Carter's own voice. Unit 12. Remain on scene. End of transmission. Observations from scene. The property at 1784 Old Mill Road is listed as condemned since 1986. Structure matches prior fire damage report, though condition of interior inconsistent with photographs taken during last inspection. Notably, wallpaper and fixtures appear restored. No sign of forced entry. No biological evidence located. Thermal scans show residual heat signatures in basement area inconsistent with ambient temperature, recorded 18 degrees Celsius above control. The soil composition under the foundation exhibits abnormal magnetism, interfering with electronic devices. Interview log, Dispatcher S. Hayes. I remember their voices. They went out at 2:43. Standard call. I heard O'Leary laughing about something. Then a pop like feedback. After that, the radio just looped. It kept saying Unit 12 remain on scene. I tried to clear the channel. It wouldn't stop. Even when we powered down the console, it kept playing faintly, like it wasn't coming from our system. Additional notes. At 6:12 a.m., Search Team Alpha located the farmhouse. No signs of struggle. Floor of main hallway covered in a thin layer of moisture resembling condensation, though outside temperature remained below freezing. Team reported hearing intermittent radio feedback despite equipment being offline. One member stated hearing his own voice calling his name over the intercom. Psychological evaluation pending. Supplementary audio classified. Recovered from Unit 12 Cruiser Data Module. Timestamp 5 hours, 4 minutes, and 17 seconds. Begin audio. Male voice. Believed to be Carter. Back on the road now. Fog's gone. O'Leary's right behind me. Second voice. Whisper. Proximity unclear. No, he's not. 4 seconds silence. Carter. Dispatch. Confirm if you can still read me. Static. Then faint, distorted female voice. Copy 12. Proceed inside. Recording cuts abruptly. Post-incident summary. Following the disappearance of Unit 12, 2 additional investigation teams were dispatched to the site on March 16th and April 3rd. Both reported temporary loss of communication upon approach. All recorded data exhibits identical corruption patterns at 3 hours, 58 minutes, and 42 seconds, identical to Carter's body cam termination. Audio engineers describe interference consistent with signal overlap, possibly self-feedback from delayed transmission. No plausible source identified. The property has since been sealed by county order. Entry prohibited without authorization. The dispatcher console from that night has been decommissioned. Despite removal of all hardware, intermittent radio traffic referencing Unit 12 continues to be logged on Channel 3B approximately once every 3 months. Attempts to triangulate origin unsuccessful. Final note, departmental addendum filed by Acting Chief R. Delaney, July 21st, 21. The call pattern repeated last week. Same coordinates. Same female voice. Message unchanged. Possible disturbance at 1784 Old Mill Road. We no longer send units there. The frequency now triggers automatically after midnight. We keep the channel muted, but sometimes during night shift, you can still hear it faintly through the static. A voice saying it over and over. Unit 12, remain on scene.